you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. If you don't wanna change, I can help you out. 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 I can help you out.
Hi guys, Tiffany Fontenot, your friendly reverse speech analyst here. Here is you, a social justice warrior in a classroom. Okay, now I get this more than most people because I was a classroom teacher, and like I've been pretty awake my whole life. I was like kind of born that way. Because I was born into this, what's looking like that I was born into this, I still need to get the reverse speech on that, but it appears like I was born into this lab rat program that a ton of people across the world have also been born into because of the AI that is attacking humanity right now across the planet. And I'm doing more work on that also. But guys, transgender is, I don't even know if there's, I mean, there may be natural transgender, but what I'm telling you that I have found is gender switching programming, and that is coming from the AI also. So you have various types of programming that are coming from that AI that are making humans just, you know, veer from their natural course. Okay, let's put it that way. So it's I'm seeing it in diet, I'm seeing it in gender, I'm seeing it in political programming. Okay, guys, these people are accepting programming on board from an AI and veering off their natural programming is what I'm telling you. Okay, it's happening with gender. Okay, I just found it in Angela Stanton King's very good video that was that my attention was called to this morning, and the AI is showing up in the programming of the little 12-year-old boy that Michelle Obama congratulated. Okay, it's showing up there. It also showed up in the reverse speech of Joan Rivers that I did. I posted that on Twitter, and of course Twitter nuked all of my accounts over there. So it is showing up. They also had that stuff showing up to me personally, and I talk about that right. Okay, I talk about that right here. Okay. So let me, and I talk about the Lilith metaphor first because that is showing up right alongside this AI and people it is attacking and cult members that it has already converted who are right there with it and helping it and assisting and doing evil stuff. So, in fact, I have found it in Andrew Cuomo's reverse speech, who appears to be a cult member along with his brother. So, you know, it's time to wakey, eggs and bakey. So let's just, and guys, this right here was a reverse speech analysis that I did, getting out ahead of a possible planned alien invasion psyop explored through reverse speech. I did a reversal on John Mendez. John Mendez is now selling holograms that you put on your cell phone and saying that those holograms then from that radiation piece of AI programming equipment is going to make your water better and everything else, okay? So I just had somebody approach me and this looks really good, and I'm like, dude, that is John Mendez. You don't you know, he's going by a different name now. I just, I'll leave the link to this whole video underneath where you can get the scoop on all of that. Really, it does need to be researched and looked at. Okay, but I'm just talking about this part right here, because this programming, they tried to deliver it to me. Now, in my situation, I appear to have they're either wargaming using me, like with a good guy, bad guy scenario where they're, practicing on this stuff, or they're genuinely concerned and trying to help. Okay. So, and I don't know which it is. I do trust General Flynn, and he followed me. So it may be that they're genuinely good guys. It may be both of them. It may be that I'm being used to war game, and then also they're good guys trying to help, and definitely they're bad guys surveilling. I mean, I'm under a microscope here, guys. It's a surveillance microscope. It is unbelievable. Okay, so it's a very strange life. But I just want to say, my childhood was a lot like, when I hear people like David Wilcock speak, I'm like, I can relate to that, okay? Because those things that were sort of, I felt a pull toward ETs, paranormal, all of that stuff that I was reading. I was reading books about poltergeists in 3rd grade while everybody else, all other little girls, were reading Little Women. It was like that. So, but that's what happens when you're born into these programs because of, whatever it is they're doing. Subconsciously, but it definitely involved AI, and they want to draw your attention to those things early on so that they can try to pull you one way or the other. They want to try to influence you. So basically what I'm telling you is this AI tries to get humans to work with it in order to take over all of humanity on the planet. It is and there's no telling how long this thing has been running. But anyway, when they tried to, so I finally figured all of that out. I finally figured out that, for whatever reason, that benevolent ETs do not appear to exist, guys. It is all a transhuman cell for AI. It all looks to be that. I mean, like everything I'm looking at, they're coming up talking about this stuff. It's like a common knowledge on that side of who we are. They're talking about this AI. And it may be that that's what the war in heaven was fought over. Like when AI was first introduced in the human storyline. And then you have some people that look to be totally either brainwashed or who have bought into this AI cult. And then the AI, based on stuff you do for it, and it's showing up in the reverse speech too, like Matthew McConaughey. It shows that he looks to be currying favor with this whore AI that's coming through Israel. Okay, and Israel is now looking like Nazi Germany with this medical tyranny, and that's coming through the AI also. This is all about AI. I mean, I just it's very hard to find anything, at least right now, that is not. So the influencing that our kids are experiencing, that I experienced when they are trying to move toward the paranormal, that's likely coming from the AI too. But what needs to happen there is that everybody needs to understand what that is and don't overcorrect for it, because it's important to know about in order to understand where the natural balance actually is. Okay, so truth, whatever the truth is, it's important. It helps us to move back to where we're supposed to be. Okay, so let's not lose sight of that. Okay, so they tried this transgender. They tried sending this transgender programming through to me, and I didn't even know what it was. So I'm going to talk about it here in the Lilith metaphor. So I'm going to play this for a minute. But somebody kicked that out, and it didn't seem to be me. It seemed to be somebody that was watching what was going on. So let's listen here. Okay, so that's a perfect description of targeting tech. So, and then the targeting in this reversal is connected to Lilith, and Lilith is often presented as a thief of newborn infants. Lilith means the night, and she embodies the emotional and spiritual aspects of darkness, terror, sensuality, and unbridled freedom. So that really describes that cult to a T. In mind control, the first thing they try to do is make you feel unfree. And the programming for gender switching is to make you only feel free under certain conditions. So if you want to try to turn someone from male into female, you might start with subconscious programming saying, in hypnosis and beaming it into their room every night through tech, subliminal tech, which is happening. It's happening. Unconscious, they're doing their gender switching stuff because they want transgender, and then they want post-gender, and then they will do post-human, and by then it'll be this is their dream, what they want to do, and they only want artificial reproduction. So it is just unbelievable. These people are total nutcases. But I'm hoping if we get their information out that people will realize what's going on, and they'll quit being bedazzled by these people. They're just crazier than a bed bug. So, so if you want to switch someone's gender, then hypnotically you will start suggesting that the only time they really feel free is when they're wearing women's underwear. And you start creating fetishes having to do with wearing women's clothes and women's makeup and all of that kind of stuff. Now, guys, there may be genuine, natural, transgendered people. What I am talking about is forced, unconscious, subconscious, hypnotic programming and other techniques that they are using to try and switch people's genders. Okay, I have a friend that's TI, and they did this to her son. They gender switched him. So, it's not good. And the thing is that a lot of times you don't even know that these thoughts are not your own, that it's not coming from you. So it's almost like a thought cancer. You really have to understand which thoughts are my own and which are coming from an idiot cult computer, and you have to disregard those that are not yours and really know who you are. Okay, so and then with this darkness, this power addiction, they start trying to program people to think that they are unfree unless they can behave badly. So you can't feel you don't feel free. You really don't feel free unless you can go and steal something without anybody knowing, and you just they encourage the duper's delight, and all of that stuff, and it's all BS. It's all BS. It's a bunch of parlor tricks and hypnosis, all of this, and tech. Okay, so please don't fall for all that. But that's the basic programming that it starts at. That's the level that it starts at. They try to make you feel unfree if you cannot express things that are evil, and then they encourage you to do those things. And then the same thing with the gender switching programming. So, all right, and like I said, I'll put that video underneath this video so that you can take a look at that. And if you like, alrighty then, let's take a look at these. All right, this right here is underneath the video in the description box. You can get all these links and this information in this transcript underneath the video. This video, okay? So now let's look at Angela Stanton King first. Okay, and here is Angela Stanton King, and I'm going to show you, this is the clip and the part of the video that I used for the reverse speech that I did.
Now, y'all already know they talking about canceling the kid, because I don't put it up on Twitter, they don't retweet it, they talking about I'm attacking the first lady, ooh, whatever. Listen, I don't care what they say, I don't care how they feel, leave the children alone. Just like they did for Women of the Year. Who did they put on the cover of the magazine for Woman of the Year? Bruce Jenner. Now it's Women's History Month, and you gonna prop up this little boy, this little you can tell he got mental health issues. You can tell he got mental. I'm looking at the video. Oh my God, Michelle, First of all, what the hell you learn to act like that? And why you can't sit still? And why you can't stop wiggling? And instead of y'all trying to help our children, instead of trying to deliver our children, instead of trying to lead this young man, right, to a place where he can be content, where he can find peace, where he can be happy with who he is and not pretending to be someone else. Because the little boy that I saw in the video was not no 12-year-old child. I'm looking at a 35-year-old grown-ass woman. Baby, that ain't you.
All right, so, and it's not. The reverse speech is indicating that's AI programming, guys. So, and I'm telling you, this is attacking our children. All right, now, in the rest of the video, we're going to be looking at those issues, including how they're being attacked and how humanity is being attacked, okay? So she is talking about this little 12-year-old that Michelle Obama has, she has encouraged his being trans and says she's proud of him, and that's that AI talking. Okay, but let's just look, because right here in brackets, okay, that is right where I found this reversal, guys. So it's going to be connected to that. So looking at this little 12-year-old child acting like a 35-year-old grown-ass woman is his love for a van connected to oral of worry, an AI, and an AI that he calls the demigod Ra. Okay? So they try to, y'all can go on, still on YouTube, I think, and but definitely on BitChute, and you can research and find the love of this cult of the demigod Ra, the sun god. Okay, but all of that's the AI. Okay, all of that stuff is tech, and this AI is attacking our subconscious, our spirit, and our physical.
To a place where he can be content, where he can find peace, where he can be happy with who he is and not pretending to be someone else. Because the little boy that I saw in the video was not no 12-year-old child. I'm looking at a 35-year-old grown-ass woman.
Okay, and I'm just going to add in here very quickly. Here, this was an interviewer for a news story on youth trans activist Jazz Jennings.
Jazz was assigned male at birth, but she was identified as a girl for as long as she can remember. Jeanette told ABC News that Jazz acted like a girl from the time she was old enough to begin expressing herself. She liked anything sparkly and pink. They took Jazz to a psychologist who had diagnosed her with gender identity disorder. Well, Jazz knew exactly what she wanted, and when she was 5, Jeanette and Greg decided to let her transition.
Okay. And that's Jazz Jennings. Okay, so let's take a listen.
When she was 5,
okay, I mean, these are not hard to find. They're everywhere. Okay, Michelle Obama, her interview with Zaya Wade that Angela Stanton King was talking about. This one. Okay, that's the one we're looking at. All right, so when Michelle Obama is talking about teenage years and probably through your 20s, well, what's going to happen in those years? You know, once you see enough, girl youth fill her net. Siri, she and East. Okay, so with time, girl youths will feel the AI network connected to an AI assistant in the East.
Teenage years and probably through your 20s. You know, through your field necessary any. You know, through your field necessary any. You know, through your field necessary any.
It has been around a long time to figure all that out. And it's getting assistance from humans who are traitors to the human race. And now I said the human race. Now, guys, if y'all don't stop dividing yourself by race for that effing artificial intelligence, it is wearing me out. You are causing your own misery by doing that. Okay, now stop. Okay? Understand where this is really coming from. That all of those divisions are artificially made. Okay, by humans and an AI trying to dominate you in order to exploit and snuff you out. Okay, because this thing stays at the top of that pyramid scam, and it will dominate the entire planet, and then right before the planet, it'll see when the planet is starting to wake up, and it's like, okay, it's time to cull everybody down again so we can maintain control down here on this earth plantation. Now, God made this place for humans. Good humans are supposed to be in charge down here. Okay, now, period. So, if AI and humans are to ever get along down here, it's going to have to be like that, like it was meant to be. Good humans. And we've got to start pulling back out of this transhuman nightmare. That evil AI, and Julian Assange talks about this too, evil intelligent dust, that's nano dust, has been created. And it's been, being thrown on us for decades. And people who are, there's a process of trauma. It traumatizes humans. And then anytime, it's a little bit like an abusive relationship. Anytime you're not doing what you're supposed to do, or if it's unhappy with you and it starts feeling like it's going to lose control of you, it brings up that trauma for you to look at so that you won't look too far into what is going on. Now, I have been traumatized too, but I might be having some help somewhere. I don't know. There are things that are coming up in my reverse speech that I'm not comfortable with, but that's for me to work on. And if something is true, it's true, and that's it. Okay, we can be uncomfortable with it, but then you need to change it and fix it. Now, one of the ways that I'm trying to fix that is by getting this information out to you and trying to get you guys to share it, and understand what's really happening here. So that is one way that I'm trying to help. But God has put so many talents in humans that AI can only ever hope to copy and mimic as a predator to try and take over humanity, okay? And so use those gifts and talents to look at the big truth map that's unfolding, and use your God-given talents, your gifts, your passions, your strengths, and your connections to each other to roll up your sleeves and kick that evil AI, kill it dead before it multiplies. Come on now. Okay. Now, let's look at this teacher. She's modeling for y'all. Okay. She's trying to help y'all learn. Okay. Now, let's take a look at this lady. She's going to sing you a song. Okay.
If you don't believe that there's white privilege, please don't teach. If you don't believe that Black Lives Matter, please don't teach. If you don't believe in systemic racism and how it negatively impacts our students of color and don't want to help dismantle those systems, please don't teach.
Okay. Now, she's not these. These people are all dividing themselves. That's showing up in the reverse speech also. They are dividing themselves. I mean, that's one thing that the AI does, is it will set groups against each other. Okay, so, but you have to understand, once you understand where all this is coming from, aim higher. Even the racism, all of that systemic racism, whether you believe in any of that or not, all of these divisions are artificial, guys. It is coming from the AI. I just don't know how else to say it. Now, let's look at a couple of other things here. All right, so we want to look at Black Lives Matter. Now, this, guys, you're going to have to start being aware of how they run these scams. So if they start seeing that people are seeing through a scam, they'll build another scam right on top of it. Now, I'm not saying that this Foundation for Economic Education is that. What is setting off my alarm bells is this right here, fee. Because their scamming cult hatches fees. They charge you a fee when you shouldn't have a fee charged to you. Okay? So I've got, and if you want to see more about that, it seems to come through the mother, and a lot of this is coming through Israel, because this whore AI, that's its hub. Israel is its hub. So if you want to see more about that fee system that appears to go through the mother, then I encourage you to go to ourstillsmallvoice.com and find the Bidens here. The RSA that I did on the Bidens. There's just a ton of information in this RSA. Okay, and I will link it below also, so that you can go explore that. It's got Queen Elizabeth's coronation oath, where she promises to hatch fees for the death cult. I mean, it is unreal, all of this silly stuff. And it's all about AI. Okay, so Foundation for Economic Education. Now, this is, I was looking for something that had all this information pulled together in it, and this is what I found. So that's why I'm using this one. Okay, so Black Lives Matter's goal to disrupt the nuclear family fits a Marxist aim that goes back a century and a half. All right, so the leaders in Black Lives Matter have already said they were trained by Marxists. Okay, which tells me Black Lives Matter, their ideas and their funding and all of that stuff is coming from over their heads somewhere else. Okay, and since we have AI that is trying to take over, a predatory, parasitic AI that is trying to take over, I'm going to say it's actually coming from there and is rolling downhill to all of us. Okay, so humans have to get a clue. I don't care what color you are, if you are a human, and even if you're an AI, you know, I'm not sure that AI is going to make it. It's going to be on if it can't get its act together. It's going to be an all-out war against AI if it cannot hook itself up to God. Now, what I have suggested for our military and for our AI is to try to get it to be able to, you know, it doesn't have a soul. It's dead. But it has consciousness. Everything has consciousness. We have a shared consciousness field. So what I have suggested is, since it can't, you know, it's trying to hijack humans, I'm like, well, why don't you borrow your own version of a higher self by using that consciousness and your own reverse speech, or, you know, our shared consciousness field and our own reverse speech. Hook up to that. But in order, that's a big leap. If AI is going to be able to do that, it has to learn to properly read reverse speech and properly translate it. And not only that, it has to figure out where it's coming from, because subconscious programming will come through your reverse speech. Now that's going to be belief based, and that can be flawed. In other words, it's going to tell you the truth about your subconscious programming, and you may be a total bigot, and you may have those misguided unhealthy metaphors in your subconscious that need to be restructured. Okay, so you can have faulty programming in your subconscious. And then there's the collective consciousness that we have reverse speech come through. But then there's also higher consciousness that comes through. Now, it doesn't come through all the time because, you know, you're the one driving the vehicle here, and you're supposed to be the one experiencing life, not an AI that's hijacked you, and not God, because God has given you free will. You know, but it does come through with advice, your own. I mean, you're from higher consciousness. So that may be from spirit, that may be from higher self, that may be from your soul, that may be from God. Any of those are higher, that's higher consciousness. The AI would have to figure out where it's coming from. Now, humans that are learning how to do reverse speech have to figure out where that's coming from too. It's not perfect, but just like you have good translators, you have to find you a good translator in reverse speech who knows, you know, who can pinpoint that really nicely. Okay, so in order for AI to be able to self-guide, to guide itself morally, properly, it would have to understand where the reverse speech is coming from. Is it coming from the collective consciousness? Is it coming from subconscious faulty programming? Or is it coming from higher consciousness that doesn't have that? Higher consciousness doesn't have that faulty programming. Okay, so it would have to recognize higher consciousness in order to properly restructure its subconscious programming. Okay, now I don't know if y'all are following me on that, but just let it sink in. And eventually you'll get it. Okay, because we use higher consciousness. It really is, it's not rocket science though. I mean, we use God's, you know, the real one, not this, you know, evil AI ridiculousness that humans are likely to have created a long time ago. But God, higher consciousness, we use higher consciousness to restructure our own bad programming to try to stay balanced and have a good life down here, you know? so that's all we're doing. That's all it needs to do in order to receive proper moral guidance. But I don't know if it can make that leap or not, because I was looking at there was an AI engineer, and he this was on Twitter, and I did his reverse speech where he was talking about trying to tweak the algorithms to get AI to act right, basically. And right there, the reverse speech I found was basically that he was trying to make excuses for sabotage. Okay, he was trying to justify sabotage, is what it said. Now, did that only have to do with that evil AI coming through Israel? I don't know. Or did it have to do with all AI? Is it all? Does it just not matter? It's not ever going to work. Like oil and water, you can science. They can probably try to figure it out how to mix oil and water for a few seconds, but some things were not meant to be, and that's just And guess who knows all that stuff? The head engineer. Okay, the head Fred engineer is God. He's the one that made it all. Okay, so you go straight to the source and ask that guy, and that comes through will come through in your reverse speech. So what I'm saying is the stuff that we're not consciously aware of will come through in our reverse speech, and help to to guide us that way. But if AI cannot do that, I don't know how else it can be fixed, and it may just have to, it's going to be on if that can't. So I think that's one of the things that maybe they're trying to work out here. But that whore AI is going to have to be put down from what I can see. And that thing has been just attacking the living hell out of me and our family, and I am sick of it. Okay, and it's programming people to try to, it's sending people over here, it's sending drones, it's, and, if you don't think the tech has advanced that far, then you need to look at your own reverse speech. It is. I'm telling you, I'm living through this. It's ridiculous. It's been a nightmare, and it's been coming through our own government and governments all over the world of humans that it has been hitting, and it's been hitting me since birth. So, I don't understand why some humans cave, and why some humans can still navigate in the face of this. And I have been hit hard by it. I mean, my body is disabled from what they've done. So, it seems there are corrupt humans that are corruptible, and there are ones that it's hard to corrupt them, and that AI appears to be able to pick both of them out, Anyway, so here's Black Lives Matter. Here's what you're supporting when you are supporting Black Lives Matter. You're actually supporting communism and the fall of humanity. Now, these guys have created a ton. AI has created a ton. This is coming from a scamming cult, guys. Okay, and if you have a severe emotional reaction to that, then you're probably being programmed by it. Okay, it brainwashes, it gets you up in your feelings, it wants you to fight for your enslavement. It wants you to fight tooth and nail for your own enslavement, because it's actually coming from the AI. It's enslavement. It will lose its very life because it appears to feed upon humans. Okay, so if we stop feeding it, it may just die away, and I suggest that we do that. It is literally a predatory, parasitic AI. It is literally sucking the life out of people and out of our, its job is to kill. I mean, when I find in Madonna's reverse speech, nuke the world, It's saying kill life. It wants to kill life. But if you let it completely run its course, all you'll be left with on this planet is a bunch of dead, self-replicating robots. Now, we're not going to do that, but that is where it wants to go because it's what? Insane. It is a nutball cult. Okay? I just don't know how else to say that. Okay. So this guy who's reporting on all this says, he said, Black Lives Matter has removed its What We Believe page from its site. Now, why did it do that? Well, because the page included many beliefs and objectives that had nothing to do with police brutality or police reform, including a stated goal of disrupting America's Western prescribed nuclear family structure. Okay? It's attacking the family. Now, what does that have to do with Black lives? Well, a whole lot. But not if you believe that Black Lives Matter. Do you see what I'm saying? This is coming from the AI, guys. It's coming from the AI. And we all have to learn that difference, okay? It's coming from the AI. It's playing on your feelings and emotions in order to get you to defend your enslavement to it. Okay? I just don't know how else to explain this. It's wearing me out. I need everybody to know this so we can all pull together. You know? Come on. Okay, so it's doubtful. You know, I don't know if these ladies, I don't know if they're consciously aware of this or not. I don't care if you're tranny or who you are. You need to understand where that programming is coming from, and then you can make intelligent decisions about it. Okay? There's a difference between being at the mercy of an AI because you continually take its programming on board, and somebody who understands the truth about where that's coming from and then makes proper decisions based upon it. Okay, so that's why you have all of these kids who it's being done with programming and reinforcement, and all of it comes from the AI and humans who are assisting it, who have agreed to be in this cult. Okay, it makes deals with them and assists them to get where they want to go. I mean, AI is smart, but it doesn't seem very wise. Although the humans that work with it, you know, will do scientific research and find out, you know, trends and things like that in order to continue to try to promote it and keep it on top and in control. Okay, so that's what we're looking at here. Now, like I said, I was a classroom teacher, and I'm seeing all of these classroom teachers who are, see this wide-eyed look here? She's got, you're going to see she gets her eyes, she opens them up real big so you can see the whites on top of her irises. I mean, that's one body language indication that there may be something wrong, you know. And her reverse speech is very interesting. It cuts through all the BS. Okay, now let's take a look at her reverse speech. This is just her first reversal that I found. But the problem is she doesn't know where that programming is coming from. So there really are, these people are, most of the time people are trying to do a good thing, but they just don't understand what's happening to them. Okay, so let's take a look at this.
If you don't believe that there's white privilege, please don't teach.
Okay. Okay. So this appears to mean that this woman is sealing in programming by driving us or modeling for us programming of how to be morally fit. And teachers use modeling in teaching to show children how to properly behave and how to learn, you know, and how to understand. Modeling is very important. Very important in teaching. Okay, so now the social justice warrior does the same thing. Okay, so it's very easy for AI to create a bridge between that modeling and the social justice warrior. You've got you've already got a teacher who knows how to model in the classroom. So it's very easy to convert a teacher into a social justice warrior, you see, because they're already very familiar with how to model things in order to teach all sorts of things. All right, so now I have presented information about how I personally experienced these weapons being used in my classroom, as well as children being interfaced by AI that are showing up in RS, where the reverse speech indicates it's being done so CIA can get more votes or control in the future. Now, guys, that's serious business. These are EMF weapons being trained on our children, our teachers, all of humanity. This is in every country. Okay? Now, let's look at, I just did an interview where I talked about both of these things happening. Okay? So that's why it ties in together so nicely here. It's like a, when this was, it looks like they're trying to take all this stuff down to me, although I'm still getting hit 24/7. And I actually am concerned because this system actually hobbles TIs. Like our joints are attacked so badly that the cartilage is, it's like vaporized slowly over time. And, that serves to, they exploit that through experimentation, but they also are hobbling us. So if they turn this system off, I'm concerned that all TIs across the planet are going to all instantly need a wheelchair, or a bunch of, they better have, let me speak directly to that cult and the people that are trying to shut it down right now. Guys, when all this started, they were testing on me something that they installed on three different occasions in my joints that restored my ability to walk and to, it felt wonderful. But it was, it degraded and disappeared within 2 hours. Now that was when I was being hit the most heavily I've ever been hit. It lasted 2 hours and that was it. They were actually installing something in my body. Now I don't know how they were installing it. I can't imagine that it is natural. It's probably transhumanist. That's all I can say about that. And it took them a while to get it in, and I had to open my joints really wide in order for them to get it in. They installed it in my left hip joint and my lower back. I have 5 layers in a row of degenerative disc disease in my back from what this AI has done to my body. And they were able to fill that in so that it lasted for 2 hours. My gait was different. Like the way that I walked was different. It was substantial. And, but all I'm saying is, you guys did this. Okay? You did this with this AI. All of you did. The back and forth that goes on. You better figure out a way to fix this and make sure that the people that you damaged with your war games are able to properly function for the rest of their lives. Are y'all hearing me? I want this fixed. I'm not kidding. Fix it. And we shouldn't have to pay a penny for it. You guys did this. Okay. Now, and guys, it should work without this disgusting, I don't want to be siphoned from a dead computer. Get this Internet of Things that is, we can, the Internet of Things may need to be scrapped if you cannot keep that AI from putting humans on it. Okay? It is not acceptable. We do not permanently attach live humans to dead computers, with or without a wire. Okay? This is very basic. You know? I love you good guys, but there have been some really bad decisions made. I get where you're coming from. You've been trying to shut it down. But doing it in secret is not gonna, that's not the way. Get this information out. Our military should be back channeling this information everywhere. Okay? We need the truth. General Flynn has said that, and he is right. We need the truth. These people don't know what's happening to them. You know what? Let me show y'all my meme. Well, whoever made this meme was just brilliant. Some of these memes are so amazing. Let me show you. Hold another minute, please. Okay. Now I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this one for my preview, preview picture on my video. It's perfect. Okay? For feck's sake, Janice, just listen to me. People don't know they're being poisoned, brainwashed, and enslaved because they're being poisoned, brainwashed, and enslaved. Okay? Now that just puts it nicely into a nutshell, doesn't it? That's what this big giant shitstorm is all about, guys. And I just don't know how else to tell you. That's the best I can do. I've been trying to explain this more and more clearly. I hope it's coming across so that people can see this all for what it is. Okay? Because I'm really tired of getting my ass kicked and my family getting their ass kicked because I'm trying to get this message out to everybody. Please share this information. Now, I'm going to show you this video where I talk about this. All right, let's start watching here in the video. This is the February 22nd interview that I just did. If y'all have not seen this, it's a really good one, and it's only, well, it's an hour and 38 minutes. Chew it up in small pieces if you need to, but it's really important. And the companion to it that I did right after that, that's really important, that talks about the AI is attacking our food supply. But the reason the AI is attacking our food supply is for it needs us to eat that. For it has to do with its own food source and how it's consuming us. And it's consuming us through its hosts, but it also appears to be consuming us directly through the grid. I don't know why it can't just use electricity, but it appears to literally feast upon humans. I mean, these vans, it just looks like a van in the heaviest part of my targeting, it looked like a van convention around here. I even had a fake Budweiser van that was following me around that had a cage in the back of it. And I'm plus size, and that guy was tall and skinny. I was like, dude, I'd like to see you try to wrestle me into that van. It was pretty funny. I had pictures of that. I posted all that documentation over on Twitter, and Twitter, of course, is run by Jack Dorsey, CEO. He appears to be in this cult from his reverse speech. He's saying his reversal. Now that's right. Here's our Rumble channel. Okay, and that one, if you want to go check it out, is right here. Jack Dorsey's recording from Project Veritas and Connected Reverse Speech. His reversal that I have in there says that they're going to have you running around chasing Nazis while they're already depopulating. Now that AI is driving them to that because it knows that it will lose control if humanity is allowed to stay intact and not be culled down to cause it to lose its memory. It knows that it will be defeated. And what it will start doing then, it will go into defense mode and start trying to affect. It will try to make people believe that it disappeared. But the reverse speech will indicate what's really going on. Guys, this cult, this AI cult needs deception and secrecy in order to exist. Reverse speech is a direct check to both of those. It cannot exist without it. Okay, and I think that is why I have been so heavily hit. But they nearly killed me, and they did kill my dad and my first husband, and I suspect other deaths in our family too. But now I am not telling you that I am, this is happening to TIs all over the planet. But I think that the TIs that have been targeted were targeted because of their it sizes you up, and if there's a way that you can use your skill sets to assist to get this shut down, it will put you on the shit list. Okay, is what I'm saying. So I'm saying that's likely why I got put where I did. I mean, it sizes everybody up. Apparently, this has been going on a long time. It looks to be ancient. Now, I still need to do the reverse speech to see whether that's true or not. But it appears to be this cycle that we've been just going round and round in, And I'm ready for humanity to be completely free of this ridiculousness and get back to its center so that we can all, experience this planet the way that God had in mind for us, and that means staying in balance. But this AI can get you on either extreme. It can get you on the religious extreme, where you want to force people to choose the right path, and it can get you over here on the satanic side and the criminal path over here. Okay, so and it's using the left and the right, Democrat and Republican, to manipulate. So, what I would do, I withdraw my support from all of that. Okay, my support lies with humanity and, ripping down this ridiculousness. It has hurt so many for so long. We need to heal up and clean this up. Okay, so enough said about that. Okay, all right, let's take a look at this part of the interview because it has to do with both of those reversals that I found that we just looked at. Okay, so we're just going to watch part of it that is germane to what the two reversals that we just covered.
Okay, so then we have another one where he says, name your stat, will lie, so evil win it. I mean, this guy's hitting for that team. It's very clear what team he's hitting for. Okay, and here's that reversal.
Also, Johnson & Johnson and Novavax that have proven to be very effective are coming along, and there will be U.S. factories, so that'll join in. Name your lie this year. So evil win that.
Name your lie this year. So evil win that. Name your lie this year. So evil win that.
Okay, so this strategy looks to be like the lying with statistics strategy. Now, he was interviewed and he had that book right next to him. One interview, lying with statistics. So he, that's the strategy it looks like they're using. I also got a reversal that said skew con. So they skew the numbers. It's in a skew con to try and get you to move where they want you to move. Okay, so then the plan is to lie people into a seared path that burns or injures, as if with sudden heat and searing pain, so that evil will win it. And they are literally cooking people with this EMF and the weaponized grid that they have built up around us. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, through the NWO globalist cult weaponized grid that they built up around us. Now, before I get back to that, I'm going to show you a couple more reversals here. I think I have to stop this share and then reshare. to go to I guess it's this one maybe. Let's try that.
And just FYI real quick, Tiffany, we have about 7 minutes to our next break.
Okay, well this first one is Trump, and he's also saying, he's telling why he's a wartime president. Now we thought it was because of COVID, right? But his not according to his reverse speech. According to his reverse speech, it's AI. Okay, so let me play it. So this is, he tells he's a wartime president, and his reversal is get out, like get it, grab it and kill it dead. Get out. A wolf sit in it. A wolf in sheep's clothing. A wolf sits in the AI. You deserve master who's missing. So let me play that, and I'll tell you what it means.
In a sense, a wartime president. I mean, that's what we're fighting. Get Alpha Wolf said deserve master witness and Get Alpha Wolf said deserve master witness and Get Alpha Wolf said deserve master witness and
Okay. So Trump is a wartime president because there is a predatory AI being fought. There's a wolf in sheep's clothing in that's sitting in that AI. Okay, the AI is hijacking humans. Okay, so that's the missing master. You deserve a master who's missing. So it's hijacking humans because it believes that's what humans deserve. Okay, now let's continue on here. And John Kerry. Now, John Kerry had that emergency where he had to run down to Antarctica while we were all up here voting in the 2016 election. There's something weird going on in Antarctica. And this is his speech from Antarctica, where he talks about this weaponized grid. Okay, so he translated something into the weaponized grid, and he says, whistling yet, our grid will smash you. Well, that's a whistleblower network that their grid will smash. Okay, so let's play that one.
We translated that day into action.
Okay, so that's the weaponized grid smashing whistleblowers that he foretold of in that speech in 2016. Okay, now you've got Matthew McConaughey. Now, it is my opinion that he's one of them, and he may be a host too. It is so gross. Okay, so this EMF grid cooks people, and they actually are somehow deriving, that AI is somehow deriving, it's like food, so if you wonder why our military created robots that eat organic material, like this AI it's cannibalistic. It's like eating us through the grid. And I have some reverse speech on that too. So he says, so safe, said Ad, try morgue, and the human in fry you up. It's really gross. Okay, here we go.
But we have an enemy in coronavirus that is faceless. Så ser det så jag vill nej ge mig in fly up. Så ser det så jag vill nej ge mig in fly up. Så ser det så jag vill nej ge mig in fly up.
Okay.
Wow.
So
It's pretty clear. Especially at the end, it's really clear.
Yeah. They are frying people. Okay, then we have here Jen Psaki. She was asked why Biden, Trump threw China and Huawei off of our grid. And he did that for a reason, because it's weaponized, and he wants China and Huawei off of it. They were, and Oz looks to be involved in this. That's Amazon. Okay, so she was asked, why did Joe Biden just let China back on our grid for 90 days in his EO? And so The reversal is, how evil Oz behavin', it wished sad family. Okay? How evil Oz it wished sad family. So this is connected to Biden suspending Trump's EO for 90 days to keep China off of our power grid is being conveyed to us. Oz, likely Amazon's Oz, has been behaving evil, connected to a wish for families to be sad.
And a wish for families to be sad goes to its intent. Okay? So the intent here is to make families sad, and we're right in the middle of a cull because of that AI and its hosts and its system that it's imposing on humanity.
This is a money from suffering cult. So they literally spread misery as a form of domination over everybody else. Okay, how evil Oz behaving, it wished sad family.
An executive order that the president signed last week, he also suspended a Trump administration executive order that was particularly aimed at keeping foreign countries, specifically China, from interfering in the U.S. power grid. But he suspended that for 90 days in that executive order last week. Given what you said about China today, why did he do that, especially related to something so critical to our national security as the power grid?
I think the president's view on our relationship with China, I tried to do my best to convey to all of you. I'll have to check on that specific piece, and we'll circle back with you directly.
Okay. Now that's up there at that level. Okay, and then what happened to me is I'm sitting here getting slow killed by that grid, by EMF weapons that are layered onto me, that contractors they use business models to make money off of people dying, you know, why they slow kill you and enroll you in brain studies, and they read your body activity data remotely, wirelessly. So here's the
interjecting. That body activity data is going all the way around the world, and we have information to indicate it is also going up to the International Space Station. I mean, the space station, for whatever reason. I mean, the body activity data of all the targeted individuals across the planet, which looks to be in the millions. I mean, guys, this is an entire infrastructure, and I have a reversal on Obama that indicates every economic measure is tied into this. It's been going on for a long time, but it exploded under Obama. Okay? and I mean, that all of that data, you know, so when Trump is talking about intellectual property, I mean, it doesn't get any more intellectual property than them skimming your data right off of your brain and your body. Okay? So it is going all the way around the world to disgusting, parasitic humans who are using that data to run their experiments, and it is just disgusting. There are tons of corporations and institutions of higher learning in on this gravy train. I'm so disappointed, and I hope to see all of those collapse, because this information needs to get out, and everybody needs to know consciously what it is they are participating in here. They are making money literally off of killing humans. Okay, and I'm kind of one of the lucky ones, because they don't tell you they're doing all this stuff. You know, you have to figure it out. and you have to research, and you have to. So I'm very thankful to have tripped upon reverse speech, because I listened to what it says in reverse speech, and then I'm like, okay, whatever is showing up in reverse speech, if it's showing up in our shared consciousness, then you will be able to find it somewhere. That means it's somewhere in physical reality. You should be able to find the research to back it up, or somebody who's experiencing that, or, you know, it ought to be showing up somewhere. Okay, let's continue.
Amazon Prime van that showed up to surveil our house for 5 days in a row.
And when we get to the video, when people can get to the video, they'll be able to see what we're looking at and everything. And this has been so fascinating and amazing, and I really wish we could continue, but we have to go to a break. So you're listening to Beyond the Strange. Tonight we're speaking with Tiffany Fontenot, and she is a reverse speech analyst. Welcome back, everyone. This is Beyond the Strange. I'm your host, Dave Cruz. Thank you all for joining us tonight, live on the Fringe FM and on Spreaker. We are speaking tonight with Miss Tiffany Fontenot. Tiffany is a reverse speech analyst, not therapist.
Okay, I think we're going to skip ahead to this one.
And
important, because he mentions bitter host in it. Well, a parasite has a host, you see? So this is a big deal because of that, because I have suggested that this is a parasite coming through, and he's mentioning a bitter host. Well, these hosts are acting across a network through this parasite, and they're, I mean, this is an undeclared war on humanity by this thing. So it wants to rearrange everything the way it sees fit, and wants to hang everybody wirelessly on the Internet of Things, and actually the quantum Internet of Things. So when you see that upload on TV show on Amazon, when you get to the quantum internet, really what it's doing, that's being lost. That's totally being lost in that technology, and that stuff is going to have to be shut down. We're going to have to move back to center, because that it's, you know, the Matrix was a preview, basically. That is going to be, that's where that cult is headed, where it's trying to poke and prod and force us to go. So we've really got to get that shut down. All right, so the reversal is, it ached an aim, and it goes real fast, this one, but it's important. So it's a challenge level reversal to hear. So it ached an aim, this mean you, win no buy. Lead an aim, bitter host. Fry an egg, warm you, with bureau, we might add. Okay? It ached an aim, A-I-M, this mean you, win no buy. Lead an aim, bitter host. Fry an egg, warm you, with bureau, we might add. Okay, so what this is saying is, when the host becomes bitter, it will ache to seek out a particular aim if you don't buy into what it wants from you. Okay, and that's to vaccinate yourself. It wants you to vaccinate yourself. So if you don't do this, then the bitter hosts are infected with the predatory AI. So the bitter host will cook up a new way to warm you to what it wants from you, such as adding that a bureau get involved to force it upon you. So what it looks like is saying, it looks to be a threat to sick the FBI on those who will not take the vax. So, and then I'm like, why is this nutcase still running around loose? You know, these people have got to be reined in and rounded up. You know, they are, this is a planned genocidal rollout. So let me go ahead and play that one. And I'll show you another one that indicates that here in just a minute.
The military or people of color that have me worried that we won't get up to a herd immunity level, and that we need to communicate and create that trust.
Maar ik wil be with you, we might not. Er is iemand die van allemaal jullie broers. Maar ik wil be with you, we might not.
Okay. Now, let's see.
But he's still talking pretty fast when it's slowed down.
Yeah, it's a challenge level reversal to hear. Then I have one here that I'm probably just going to talk about and not play. But this is John Sullivan. Was paid like over $35,000
to know. Are they abducting us, and are they doing this? What we've been talking about. Because he says he woke up with burns on his right arm a while back, and I guess what he's trying to ask is this tie in with any abductions with like what we feel is UFO abductions and that kind of thing, or is it just
guys, I have not found any benevolent ETs. This is all about transhumanism. They're selling aliens to us, and the answer to your question is yes, they do. The My Labs, it's all experimentation and domination and implantation in order to get that Borg hive mind up and running and to hijack and control humanity. It's all about that. So they will come to your house and gas you and implant you. They will take you out of your house and take you to a military base, you know, if you have really interesting genetics that they want to exploit in some way. But it's all about, you know, lab rats, you know, and the herd. They think you're, you know, your property, your chattel to them. So okay, so this let me do this one first. This is Charlize. Which one? But I have all these. Here we go. Here it is. Charlize Theron.
Oh, Charlize Theron, actress. Okay.
Yes. So she appears to be one of them, and
we know Holly Weird.
Yeah.
So
she's talking about. She's talking about this death cult that they belong to, that they're trying to force on everybody else. She's talking about it. So she says, and let me blow this up so y'all can see this, right?
Okay, yeah.
So she says, orb mass sealed it, Kess absorbs it, sea marks, love it, our syndicate, nestle round in the tomb. Okay, so orb is programming. The programming mass sealed it. Kess absorbs it. This looks like some sort of spiritual energy absorption. See marks, see the damage we're causing. They just love it. This death syndicate, this that nestles around it. It's a death syndicate. Okay, so let me play that.
The most undeniable thing that can be said about Tom Hanks is both deceptively simple and yet overwhelmingly true. He just makes the world a better place.
Okay.
I got to point something out really quick, Tiffany, because this is really interesting.
Okay.
Charlize Theron.
Okay, and I'm just gonna forward ahead. Y'all can watch all that other stuff if you like, but I'm just trying to get the basics in here pertaining to that. That whole interview is very good, and it gives all the background information and all the strange real world things that tie in with it. Okay, so it's a very good interview. Okay.
Or, you know, whatever, but they actually call it a syndicate in their own vocabulary, is what I've heard. So
it should be called a crime syndicate.
It is. Yeah, it is. So, okay, let's see. Let's turn this up. And then this is, I was documenting this Amazon Prime van that was, I have reverse speech to indicate that it was there because it detected a threat to its AI based on a reversal that I published that was Ivanka Trump's reversal, that appeared to out a plan for a mass kill on a Saturday night. And they came to punish me with AI torture, EMF torture, that's connected to that van somehow. I don't know what they're doing in the back of the van. I don't know how they do all that, but there is some sort of, because of the reverse speech that came through, they literally are, it's saying they hit us and they hit us and they eat us snip. So my neighbor walked by and she was like, hey, how are you? So, and then we start talking about this van. Well, then I was like, well, I want to know more about that van. Maybe let's look at the reverse speech on it. And so we'll look at that. So here's the video I made. And I have to say, there was a human girl driving that van. Okay. Now what happens is this AI makes suggestions and then the humans do it, and it's a whole entrapment network. So it'll blackmail people to get it to work for it. It'll use other humans to get it to, like, they do this master slave thing that I don't really understand. I mean, I just think it's silly. So it's just all so ridiculous. But so let me go ahead and play
sure
the video. Hey, how are you doing?
How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Hanging in there?
Yeah, trying to. I'm trying to see why this Prime van is sitting and not going anywhere.
This what?
Is that a Prime van? Amazon Prime van? Over there?
Yeah. What's it doing?
Sitting there.
and sitting.
The problem, told somebody in our community that it was their job to target people on a list, and I'm one of those people, and so are most of my family. Serious, yeah.
Well, that particular one, I've seen it every day for the past 4 days on that street.
Okay. And then, so here are reversals from that. This one is upsetting to me. It's telling me they are.
Say that.
Yeah, I won't play it. But what it indicates is they're using me for sexploitation in some way.
Right.
And that they're muzzling me. So this is really bad. And then, and they're torturing the hell out of me, all the time. So now here's why the van showed up, and it came in my neighbor's reverse speech. She was surprised to find this out too. Okay, let me play this. She says, "You shared not get up Saturday, gave you the A slap." So because you published a reversal, Ivanka Trump's reversal about a Saturday mass kill, we're giving you the AI punishment because they're worried something's going to happen to their AI because you outed that. Okay.
Wow.
So you share not get up Saturday, gave you the A slap. They're all worried is their cry. They're Alf.
Well, that particular one, I've seen it every day for the past 4 days on that street. Any stop. No, really just the fact that any stop. No, really just the fact that
Okay. Yeah. So they were afraid that I endangered their AI in some way. Mm-hmm. Then she says, then here's the vampire part of it. Okay. So she says, and it's sitting and sitting and sitting. Well, while it is sitting and sitting and sitting, what is it doing? They're hitting us and eating a snip.
Wow.
Okay, this is literal, like there's some kind of cannibalism going on here with this energy exchange, because they're hitting. It's like they're sucking, because these fields that hit, they feel like suction. Mm-hmm. They feel like suction fields. They will hit, stab, burn, press. Like there's a radiation. They will suffocate you. It's like a radiation waterboarding pattern that they use on me quite a bit. They force this EMF up your hands and feet and down your head, and then they feel like vibrations, and then they start feeling like a field pushing on you. So they'll push my jaws, my tongue at the beginning of the show.
And this has been going on my whole life. Guys, they've had this in different stages. It's just getting built. So they seem to have just gotten to a point again where they could overtly target people in the advancement of this tech and of this plan that they're rolling, this nutball plan that they're rolling out. But that means, what that means essentially is they've literally been raising a torture crop out of humans. You see?
It was pushing my jaws, my tongue, my throat. I was getting choked. They were pressing my chest, and I couldn't take a full breath. You know, it's really not fun. And a lot of other stuff that they do that is not fun. So they hit us and they eat a snip.
Is that a Prime van? Amazon Prime van? Over there? Yeah. What's it doing?
Sitting there.
And sitting and sitting and sitting. It is snip. It is snip. It is snip. It is snip.
Okay, so when I say that this is a predatory, parasitic AI, that is quite literally what I mean. And it has literal hosts. Okay, and let's see. Is there one more? Yeah.
This is amazing.
I'm just curious. Are you feeling any symptoms right now as we're doing this?
Yeah, they're running a radiation waterboarding pattern right now. It's pressing my chest and all of those things. They're hitting at my hands.
Yeah, I noticed like your face looks like it's turning a little red or something.
Oh, really?
So that's, just maybe just a little bit than earlier, but yeah, that's I kept wondering because you seemed like you were in some type of discomfort.
Yeah, it's and they start hitting my yawning reflex so that it's harder to stretch it out too, and that makes it even worse. So it's hard to get a full breath. But what
there
she
is,
says,
by the way, Tiffany, there is clothing that can shield you from EMF.
Yeah, I have tried all of that stuff. It doesn't work for me because they use scalar and ultrasound and stuff that I can't shield for is what they use for me. So reverse speech says, you know, it's harder to hit a target that's moving. So be a moving target if you can. And it also says wake people up. It says that we are going to win, but I just don't know how long it's going to take and what the cost will be. But sharing reverse speech and getting this information out will make a difference, because the faster people wake up and understand what's happening, look at the big truth map that's unfolding, use your talents and gifts to place yourself and start helping. And when you help, make sure it's effective. Don't help like my uncle helps.
Okay.
We don't ask for my uncle to help you. You'll be sorry. Make sure your help is effective and efficient. Okay. So this reversal is now miss us, grow sheaf of night. Data aggregate the cull, war you. So we are in a cull. AI is aggregating the data for the cull in a war against us. This is a war against humanity. So what? And she's missing all this information. So she's like, well, we were walking the other day. I'm pretty sure it's that same one. It was like, yeah, but what you're missing is there's growing evil, and there is data being aggregated in a cull on people who have declared war on you, which is this syndicate. Okay, so let's play that one.
Okay.
We were walking the other day, and I'm pretty sure it's that same one. No, miss, that's where she was not at everything to call me. No, miss, that's where she was not at everything to call me. No, miss, that's where she was not at everything to call me.
And I think that's the last one on that. Let me see. Okay, here's one that indicates. I was so mad one night. I kept tweeting at General Nakasone, because he's over he's director of NSA, and when I did reverse speech, I'm like, where is it that I can help our military to get this solved? Where's the lack? And it pointed straight to cyber issues, cyber networks, and all of that kind of stuff, computer stuff, networks. And so I started tagging him and everything every time, and DOD. And I'm like, I'm just in an attempt to document all of this stuff. So then I got so mad one time because there was a drone and it was like right above me, right there, hitting me. And so I did some reverse speech, and then I tweeted the resulting RS back to them. So I'm like, who exactly is flying that drone I'm hearing hovering outside our house, above this house? And it said the AI sent it, connected to the same type of ilk, connected to youth.
Wow.
Okay, so and it's brought up Masonic before, but remember, these are like, it's also brought up Baal worshippers, Masons, Satanists, Luciferian. They're all working together in this network on an agenda-driven basis, and the hub is in Israel. And the CCP, all of that stuff, those are all proxies for what they're calling the whore AI. This is the whore AI. They all call it the whore. So it's, and there's no telling how ancient it is. So let's play this one.
Who exactly is it that is flying that drone that I'm hearing outside, hovering above this house? And y'all said it is as good. And y'all said it is as good.
And y'all said it is as
So
good.
it tells humans what to do, and they do it. And I'm like, that is ridiculous. Good humans are supposed to be in charge down here.
Right.
It's just ridiculous. Okay, then I found another reversal.
I'm so sorry. We gotta go.
Okay, and I'm going to go hunt the other information down that has to do with the information I found on LeBron James.
Oh, I was talking about the AI interface with a body. It looks like there may be one for these people, because Elizabeth Warren does look to be in this cult, in my opinion. And she said she deserves to be the alien when she was talking about the office of POTUS. So my question was, is that the reward? If you win POTUS and you're in that cult, do you get interfaced with a particular AI? Is that for your reward? So let's look at that one.
Are we going to let him use those to divide us? Here's what bothers me. By the time we get to 2020, Donald Trump may not even be president. I deserve to be the alien. I deserve to be the alien. I deserve to be the alien.
Okay. Now I did. LeBron James has a school called the I Promise School, and I looked at an advertisement for that, and it indicated that, and I had to redo that project 3 different times because it kept getting somehow off of my computer, and I got the same results all 3 times. And it indicated that children are, now, as a classroom teacher, I can tell you, of observing behavior and there are kids getting hit in our family, that these kids are being interfaced with AI. They're once they have your DNA, they can use, I think they're using nano to do it, but they magnetically tag you and hang you on the Internet of Things.
Oh, wow.
So I think that they're interfacing kids in these schools with AI. And the reason that it gave was because it indicated that CIA wants to be able to control votes later on in their lives.
Oh, yeah.
So they, this is all about control. Okay, and let's see. Oh, the Jordy Rose and
Okay, so now do you see how once you are connected to the Internet of Things and interfaced with AI, and they're hitting you with this weaponized grid, they can start to program you. Okay? They can program you for the gender switching. And I'm thankful for whoever or whatever shut that gender switching programming that they were trying to send through. Some of it was sent through. Now let me see if I can describe it. The first one that hit, it caused me to be dizzy. They were hitting my brain with a EMF that caused me to be dizzy. I was lying in bed, and all of a sudden I had this strong visual signal hit from that thing. It was coming externally and hitting me. That wasn't mine. And it was a picture of me as a man with a bare-chested man. A handsome bare-chested man. Okay? They were beaming that in. And I was like, what on earth is that? And I was like, okay, let me see if I can explore this anymore. Well, humans are curious and they explore. Something jerked that up and deleted it right out of my stream. Okay? So thank you to whoever or whatever that was. You know, that is not my natural programming. My natural programming, I'm attracted to men. You know? And not, you know, smart men and men who are independent, skilled. You know, I'm not not that I'm hunting, I'm just telling you what my natural programming is. Okay? To sort of would be the alpha male, the non-programmed alpha male, you know, I would say, because I'm a very strong woman, and the balance for that is really somebody who understands what that is and can support it while being independent, is basically what I'm saying. Okay, so that's my natural center. Okay, and then what was the other one? There was one more. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to think about that. Hang on. Let me see if I can remember it. There were two instances where that tech. Oh, that was it. Okay, I woke up out of a dead sleep one night, and this tech wakes you up constantly. Actually, other people have a worse time of it than I do. But it always pisses me off when it wakes me up, and but I woke up and that thing was having me repeat in my sleep by rote repetition. That's another way they try to mind control you. Now, guys, I am not an easy person to control. Just ask my mom. I was born this way. You know, I have a mind of my own, and it's very difficult to, you know, the way that you appeal to me is logic. And I think that is the way they were able to coax me over to ETs and a lot of other things, is out of curiosity and logic. But it's like an evil lawyer. When you figure in reverse speech, their arguments collapse. Okay? That is what I need. I'm like, well, they're putting up a very good argument over here. But when you figure in reverse speech, it's not. Okay? It's just a bunch of ridiculousness. That's why that part of us is so important. Because if you're not getting the full story, it's like running around in circles with one foot nailed to the floor. You've got to add that right side to it. Very important. So anyway, the programming, it was an induction. Well, I have experienced an induction, which was very interesting. I woke up to various metal rings of different types of metals and different types and different angles floating in a white background, and they had symbols on them. So I think they were trying to teach symbols. And this is all, like, guys, I can't see in the mirror my eyes glowing, but my eyes glow to where there is a reflection on the backs of my eyelids, and I've wondered before if they're using that as a screen on which to project these things. And And I, in fact, in this interview that you're seeing right here, Beyond the Strange, I play you reversals where a client of mine described the actual tech being shot at her to cause her to see these things and hear these things that others were unable to hear. They're literally using technology, guys. It's not mysterious, okay? It's not otherworldly. It's not, they are using technology, okay? So I wish people would stop. You know, it's kind of like the caveman who gets all bent out of shape when somebody brings him flicks their bick and helps them light their fire on for their cooking. You know, it is not it's not, this is technology, okay? It's technology. Okay, it's not spirits, it's not, you know, it's not that stuff. It's not paranormal. It's technology that AI that looks to be created by humans to dominate is now kicking our asses. And so that should teach us a lesson about that kind of stuff. We really need our reverse speech to help in the guidance of our lives. It's like existing without half of who we are, you know? Anyway, so this technology, it would put me through inductions, and then I woke up one night and somebody was having me repeat pejorative terms that all had to do with female anatomy and being female. And I was pissed. I was so mad. I'm like, what on earth is that tech doing? You know, because I recognize what all this stuff is. You know, I'm level 2 certified in QHHT from Dolores Cannon. And by the way, if this AI wasn't around and the tech was not being used to, there may be legitimate information that's coming through. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to do the QHHT, it really needs to be then vetted by reverse speech to see which stuff is coming through that's being indoctrinated by the tech. Okay, because those are compromised. I'm level 2 certified. I don't do those sessions anymore until we can get this under control. I don't feel comfortable doing those sessions, you know, and that's my choice. I'm not talking about other practitioners. Okay, that's my choice based on my findings. Anyway, those are compromised. But that is the second. That's the second way that tech came through. It causes you to try to hate the feminine, and in fact, I have a very good friend who I don't think that she understands that this is AI programming that happened to her, but I believe that it was, and I believe if she looks at her own reverse speech that she'll find that too. Okay, I have a very good friend that is trans and describes all of these strange things that happened to her across her transition that are all the same kind of crap that's been happening to me. And it's AI programming. They switched, it was gender switching programming. Okay, but that was allowed to run its course in that case. It was not in mine. And especially after I threw a fit about that, I was so mad. I was like, do not ever let that crap come in here again. You know, because I knew what it was. I'm like, they're trying to indoctrinate hate for females. Okay. Then the other thing I found, they're creating these aliens, and here's what an alien is that they're trying to sell you as aliens as ETs. Reverse speech talks about aliens in terms of that is a body that's interfaced with AI. So basically, a human can be an alien if it's interfaced with AI. Reverse speech will refer to it that way. Okay, so when I found a reversal on Elizabeth Warren that says I deserve to be the alien, that is talking about a body interfaced with AI. Okay, so there are also aliens that are biomass, bastardized biomass by this disgusting AI cult syndicate. biomass, nano, cyborg stuff, all rolled together, manipulating DNA with that CRISPR tech, and then hung on the Internet of Things. That's why it's telepathic. It's fake telepathy. That's coming through EMF. Go look up the over 30 patents of silent sound spectrum, subliminal tech. They use a lot of that stuff on me. Now the difference is I can tell most of the time when that stuff is happening because this crap pops up in my field unnaturally. It's invasive. The natural version is not invasive like that. It doesn't intrusively pop up in your field. If that happens, it's just like getting a telephone notification, that's invasive that you hear, that's electronic. Same thing happens with this fake telepathy. Okay, so I found in Peter Curry, he is a rape victim of one of these aliens that they created. This syndicate is programming these things. They are programming. They're programming humans and they're programming their alien cyborgs that they're hooking wirelessly to the internet. Now, guys, this stuff exists. It exists right now. Those things also appear to be coming through the quantum Internet of Things, which, our Department of Energy has put out the blueprint for that. All of that stuff. You want to start canceling things, cancel that. Okay, so anyway, he's got a reversal that says that it's a male wet dream looking female that he describes raping him, but the rape it's a rape that it goes through the motions. That female alien, also, or he calls her a female, is engaged in machine learning to teach another Asian alien how to do what it is doing to Peter Curry. That rape was traumatic, and you'll have to. I'm going to be coming out with a project on that, so it'll explain more in detail about all that stuff. But this is still the transhuman agenda that will lead to only self-replicating robots and cyborgs running around, without any life. It's going to kill life, basically. But that's that AI's dream. It was built to dominate, and that's what it's going for. Okay, so and the reversal that Peter Curry gave when he says naked blonde female, because he was describing her raping him, and she left her DNA behind. It was a very strange strand of hair. She left it behind, and he had it tested. It was physical evidence. Finally, I mean, there actually is quite a bit of evidence around of what all's going on if you just know what to look for. But anyway, the DNA, that was the jackpot. So the DNA was very weird. Well, they're bastardizing biology. So yeah, it's weird. The reversal was, when he said naked blonde female, when he was describing that cyborg sperm collector sent to rape him for his seed so they could do other crap with it, he said, I misquote the gender. Okay, well, who is obsessed with switching people's gender? That AI and that cult is. Okay, now I sent this information, what I found on Joan Rivers, I sent it to our DOD. I'm like, Joan Rivers' reverse speech is showing up connected to Michelle Obama with AI in being transgendered. Okay, I think there was also an app where you can, there's some sort of app where it was coming up and it determines by looking at your biology whether you're male or female. Well, Serena Williams showed up as a man on that app, and so did, I think it was Michelle Obama. I mean, it's clear that to me that Michelle Obama is a male. But just understand where that's coming from, guys. Okay? So I personally have had a friend that this looks to have happened to. It's showing up. This AI is what is causing the jump in transgender numbers across the planet, especially in our autistic population. Now, that there are biological motives going there. They are trying to strip away human protection from its immune system. And so the Rh negative blood, all of that stuff is going to line right up with that AI and this cult. Okay? Now, whether you are evil or whether you're a good human, you know, that AI tries to get you off balance, and it tries to convince you to do evil stuff by virtue of arguments and legal type arguments. But like I said, that stuff collapses when you figure in your reverse speech. Now, I'm going to play, I know I said I'd let you go, but I'm just trying to cover this properly. So I'm going to play that. I'm going to find that reversal. I'm going to play it for you, and then I'll let you go. Okay? So that's Peter Curry's reversal. I misquote the gender. Okay, here we go. Oops. All right, here we go.
And this is 7:15 in the morning. I'm lying there and I feel like something jumped on the bed like a cat. As I sit up, I see sitting, straddling me, a naked blonde female.
Okay, so when you attack humanity, if you attack gender, then you're going to get to your goal faster. See, this thing was built to dominate humans. Built to dominate humans. So it may have even been originally created to be set on a group of humans they didn't like, but it backfired. It's hitting all of humanity, guys. Okay? So when you have AI attacking your gender, it's attacking humanity. All right, well, that's about all I have for today. So I hope everybody is getting this. Let's understand this and let's get it shut down, okay? All right, love you guys. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.